Hello, everyone. My name is Bassem. I'm a consultant in emergency medicine. Today, we'll talk about Logbook, and I'm basically focusing on the specialist registration, or if you are building your portfolio, one of the domains in this application will be your Logbook. So, we'll talk about this in 5 points, and I'll give you 5 examples at the end. So, um, first, what is the logbook and why I need it? Then which template to use and how to fill it up. Okay, and we'll end up with pitfalls. So the definition of logbooks, there is a lot of variations and definitions for this, but it's basically a record for your practice, including the cases, procedures, operations, modules, um, you have done in your practice. So, um, unless there is a template for you have to fill, you can get any template, but it's basically a summary of your practice. It doesn't need to include loads of details, but it will need to be simple one. Okay, why we need to have a logbook? I find it like compass. So you record yourself. It's a personal one. So you see what you've done and what's still remaining for you to fulfill. Reflect on your practice. So it's a shame if you done something and there was some unexpected outcome and you didn't learn from this one, or if you are doing the same thing twice without changing anything. This bit of that doesn't make sense. So logbook would help with this. So you'll find it easier if you have a record or an index of what you've done competency wise. Now, and finally, sometimes it be mandatory. End of story. So let's answer the next question, which is which template to use. Basically, you can answer this with simple answer. It's anyone, any template would do. If there is one for your college, so you can search online, Royal College of Emergency Medicine, Royal College of Surgeon, um, or alternatively, if your hospital provide you with one, well and good. If your son designed one for you, yes, a happy days, you'll take this. If you are an artist, like one of my colleagues, he designed his own lookbooks, but all of them should contain these mandatories, or these should cover these fields. Like it need to have your personal details on it, and I'll show you this in the next few slides. A hint about the hospital census wise, and like the load of cases. Bear in mind, all this should be anonymized. This could jeopardize whole your application if you fail to anonymize your cases. So no patient identifier should be in your application, um, name-wise, hospital number, or date of birth. So try your best to include only clinical relevant information. Now, the last question to answer, would this need a signature or stamp from your hospital? So one of the consultant or your supervisor need to sign this. Like this, what I want to say is don't let this stop you from starting your logbook or filling it up, uh, because it's a personal logbook. So basically it doesn't need, unless they indicate this. So if it's not indicated or it's not mentioned clearly in your application that your logbook need to be signed or verified, it's at the end of the day, it's your personal logbook, so you can fill it yourself. Okay, if you I don't believe that will be a lot of difficulty to get this stamped by your department stamp or your hospital stamp. Now, next, after the template, how to fill it. And let's at this point differentiate you guys into fresh graduated guys and elder population like me. So for the fresh graduated, it's easy. So you start from today and you decide, yes, I'll start my building up my portfolio, and I will go like simultaneously do the work with assessment and e-modules, and the logbook. And these are the three corners if you are planning to triangulate your evidence. Coming to the elderly like me, if you are practicing medicine for 10 or 15 years, and you decided, yes, I need to apply for a specialist registration, and you need to trace your evidence. This is difficult, to be honest with you guys, difficult, but it's not impossible. So what you're gonna do is try to find out about your rotas, try to contact the IT, and from your memory call back the interesting cases, and you put it in the logbook. You don't need much cases, like average to be 50 cases per year. It could be more, happy days. But again, keep it simple. It's not rocket science. You don't need to prepare an empty and logbook. It's simple details. I'll show you in 2 slides coming about this now. Again, it's a good habit to write reflection. They will not fail you if you didn't. Yet it's a good practice showing me that you are learning from the previous cases you've seen, and you are improving yourself. Okay, if I'm an assessor, I will not. I'm not assessor, but I'm saying is, if I'm assessing your application, yeah, I will be delighted more if I seen some reflection, because you are willing to improve yourself rather than proving yourself only. So, and we'll end up with the pitfalls. Again, patient identifier, um, and no reflection. I will not be happy with you if you have no reflection. You will not fail for one thing, but if you are failing, if you have a lot of deficiencies, and don't let this to be one of them. Unbalanced one, like if you working again, if you are working as an emergency doctor, and you get me all your application minor injuries reductions. I'm not hiring a doctor specialized in ankle dislocation reduction, right? So I want you to show me a mixture of beat cases, adult cases, trauma cases, medical cases, um, minor injuries plus recess. Okay, so kind of, yes, give me some drama, you know. Again, if the evidence is too old, like if you are giving me a logbook dated back to 2010 or 2015, it's a bit too much. So unless you link it to your current practice, so you included, you had your old logbook, well and good, okay, but add to this cases from your last year, the year before, and this year. So like make it like 50 year before, 50 cases before, then like 10 or 20 cases over the last 2 years. Does it make sense, guys? So let's show you some examples. I'll start with the simplest one, which is like something I created, and I get the headings of the hospital, and I put my personal information followed by the census of the hospital, and kind of services we provide. And basically, very simply, I just got the curriculum from the college, and I put it on the logbook, and okay, this day I finished this competency, that day I seen this case, and after the day after I've done this procedure. So I went through it as simple as that. Second example will be the Royal College of Emergency Medicine template, and this is how it look like when it's filled, and this is the plain template. So it's quite easy spreadsheet, including the details about the presentation itself, diagnosis, procedure, complication. Don't make all the complication as nil. I don't expect to hire a doctor, a computer doctor. So show me that you are learning from these complications, and you are showing me some reflection. So you can see there's a bit of a lot of reflections in here, but if you look to thumbnails in here, there's not much. So just I'm keeping in the start some reflection, at the end of the logbook some more reflections. Now the last thing I want to show you or share with you guys is a CPT diary. It's not a mandatory one, but it's a good habit again. Um, I already applied for specialist registration and included this uh, the last 4 years or last 5 years from 2017 to 2021. But I found that a good thing to include the evidence before, even if you have it. So if you have some things from before, like 2010 or 15 or whatever, you can include it, provided that you will link it to the present as well. Okay, so this is the last slide in my presentation today, and what I want to talk to you today after this session, what is the future for these sessions? So I was planning to one of these three options, either to do a formal course with guys who finish their specialist registration and guide you guys through this, or ideally, which this my preferred option is to go through remote mentoring, in which we'll sit together every weekend for maybe half an hour or 40 minutes, reviewing what have been done and planning for the future. So there will be an assignment every week, and the assignment for this week is to start up your logbook. And once you start your logbook and you put like 10 cases, I think this is doable in a week time. Next week we can talk about, or next weekend we can talk about the next item, which will be, for example, your reflection, how to write a pure reflection case, or how to write a thanks letter, or go through the what we call, I'll share with you later a list of requirements to build your portfolio, the work with assessment ones, the logbooks, required courses, management, and leadership, and this kind of the stuff. Or the last resort will be the sporadic sessions, like every now and then we share with you something. Again, it depends on your feedback and how you like this to happen. As I told you, ideally the consistency will be the best option if we are going through this week by week. I believe in for people like working in for a long time and practicing medicine for last like 10 years, and they want to apply for specialist registration, and they have a lot of things, but they fail, or they are not able to put all together, all bits and pieces. This is what we can do together. Thank you guys for staying with me till the end, and I'll see you later. Thank you.